So I always had this idea floating around in my head about a retail store geared towards guys, but more of like a hangout.
Welcome back to Brew Talks. I'm Steve Stroud. I'm President and CEO of Roswell Inc. We're the economic development organization in the city of Roswell.
And I'm Andy Williams, President and CEO of Visit Roswell, with the responsibility of driving tourism to the community as the city's official destination marketing organization. And have a great guest on today, Bruno Castanza. This is a man that's got a fantastic business in Roswell that we really lean heavily on because they've got fantastic retail really kind of in all the action. They're technically located off Woodstock, but very close to Canton Street on the other end.
You can throw a rock.
Do a great job driving business in there, and we'll get into the types of items, the curated items of things that they sell, and the different types of things that they do to service the community. But Bruno, it's great to have you on, and we're going to jump right in, and I want to know the history of kind of how you came to be in Roswell, and then what your idea was for Roswell General to kind of get that out of the ground.
Well, how did I end up in Roswell to begin with, or how did I end up with Roswell?
Yeah, sure. Take it back.
All the above.
Let's hear
How'd
the
you get
Bruno
here?
101.
20 plus years you've been here.
Oh my gosh! Long story short, things go south with a girl. You pack up your stuff, you leave, and you end up. I'll just make it short. And and then I buddy of mine from high school said, "Come live down here," and I fell in love with it, and ended up in Buckhead for a while, but then. When I was serious and wanted to buy a house, I kept driving through Roswell, and this was prior to Canton Street. I just really loved, not prior to Canton Street. Canton Street's always been there, but the bars and the restaurants.
Prior to the popularity.
Yeah.
And I just loved the feel of the town. It felt like home, like a hometown, like small hometown kind of thing, and I liked it a lot. And when I first moved up here, I tell this story all the time. Me and my wife Julie. We went down to Canton Street when there was Fratelli's and Pastis.
Oh, yeah.
And there was a little shop where Zest, the one half of Zest when you're facing it to the right.
Yep.
It was just a little guy made sandwiches on a hot plate and served Green's ice cream or something like that.
Yeah, it was. Greenwood's ice cream.
Greenwood's ice cream.
Yep.
So we went and got an ice cream, and I remember standing in the middle of Canton Street at 9 o'clock on a Saturday. You could hear crickets.
Nothing.
Wow.
And I said, "This sucks. I wish there was a bar here."
Oh, that's funny.
And guess what?
And guess what? And now I'm like, man, this sucks. I wish these people would get out of my town.
And that's always the story.
But that's kind of how I ended up here. And honestly, it was probably the closest I could afford to Atlanta at the time.
All right.
Sure.
And so, everybody's like, "What are you doing way out in Roswell?" And now all those people that made fun of me are like, "Are there any more places to live in Roswell?"
Yeah.
100%.
So I'd like to say I was a genius and picked it, but it just dumb luck, I guess.
Yeah.
So.
And you built houses for how many years?
24 years.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, so I did that. COVID rolled around. Everybody lost their minds. Prices of materials and labor went up, and you're trying to do a job, and the owner's looking at you like I actually make the lumber. And I just, after 20 some years of it, I just said I'm done. I didn't want to deal with it anymore. Just burnt out. Tired of putting in a barn door every other house, like it was something amazing, and it was just. So I always had this idea floating around in my head about a retail store geared towards guys, but more of like a hangout.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And when I got tired of building that we're in, it came for sale, and right about the same time, I had a few friends that were kind of wanting to do other things. And we would just sit and talk. And originally I wanted to try and buy the Rayford Gallery, the old one, the big one.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Which that would have been a whole nother, we were talking about kayaks and fishing and hunting.
Yeah.
And,
Like an outfitter.
yeah. But long story short, when you start putting the pen to paper, people start backing out and don't want to get in, they get scared.
Nervous.
And get nervous. And so pretty much everybody backed out, and there's some other bunch of backstory that we won't get into there, but I started with a partner and then had to get rid of the partner. But ended up like I just didn't want to build anymore, and I said to my wife, that building's for sale. I think I want to try and do this. Mm-hmm. And I'm still surprised to this day. She said, okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
Which I'm shocked she said do it, you know. And so it just, I don't know, we just kind of evolved from there. I mean, we bought the building, and then COVID lockdowns hit, and then it was like, well, what are you going to do? I already have the building. So we would just go in there and build it while I couldn't do anything else. And then we opened June of 2020 on Father's Day. Mm-hmm. And it was great because at the time, everybody was stuck at home. Mm-hmm. And they're stuck in their house, in their yard. So they're like, well, if I'm going to be stuck at home, I want to make it the most of it. So they'd come in, and we were selling green eggs like you wouldn't believe. There was a 6-week wait on green eggs.
And you guys pretty much, I mean, you've got the market on big green eggs here in Roswell. I mean, you know, it started out, you had what's now the Atlanta Grill Company, but they specialize really in Kamado Joe's, which is the competitor basically. But if you go into Roswell General at this point, the whole left side is nothing but big green eggs and big green egg accessories.
Yes.
So talk about what that's done for your business, because we'll get into some of the other products, but that is, I mean, that's a big part of your business.
So one of the things, this was even, we had already put an offer on the building, but what I was rushing to do before we actually couldn't back out anymore is I kept saying we need 2 anchors. Mm-hmm. And one was Big Green Egg and one was Yeti.
Got it. Yep.
And I knew if I got those 2 businesses, I would have at least a couple solid anchors that would draw people in, and then bring in all the other stuff. Mm-hmm. And it came down to literally 24 hours where Green Egg finally said, okay, we'll give you the dealership. Because if they wouldn't have, I don't know if I would have opened.
Yeah.
Because I looked at Kamado Joe, I looked at Primo, I looked at all of those, and I don't know if I would have moved forward.
Yeah. No kidding.
But that turned out to be a blessing, because Green Egg, like I said, there was a time during COVID, 21, 22 even, where there was a wait to get your green egg.
Sure.
And people want them. They were stuck at home. They're like, if I'm going to be here, I want to have a nice grill. Every Friday was pizza night for most people. They couldn't go out to get pizza anymore.
Right.
Yep.
So they were like, well, give me what I need to make a pizza on the green egg.
And pizza on the big green egg is incredible, by the way.
Yeah. It's so that was, we lucked out. You know, it's, again, I like to say I'm the genius behind figuring, but we lucked out along the way.
Sometimes luck's it's an important factor, you know, and some hard work.
Well, that's true. And someone once told me, luck doesn't just come. You got to put some work in, and it'll happen.
My father-in-law used to say this. He used to say to my brother-in-law, Stroud over here, he's got a lot of luck. But it's amazing how much luck you can get when you go to work at 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing.
Yeah,
you guys put some elbow grease in it, and what a deal, man! I remember in that very building, I had a client when I was in the printing business, and it was Cherokee Explosives.
Yeah,
and they did all these crazy demolitions around the country. They were there like 15 years.
Yeah,
where they went around and blew things up.
Yeah,
that's what they did. Brought buildings down, blew bridges out.
Yeah.
All demo.
Yeah. For a long time, I was wanting to find that Cherokee demolition sign or something like that.
Yeah.
That'd been cool.
I got the old, if you've been in there, I've got the old beer cans I found in the crawl space from when the guys built the place. A lot of people don't know this. The counters in there was a tree that fell on Barrington Hall. Mm-hmm. Big oak tree. This was 6-7 years ago.
Okay.
And they had sawed all that lumber, and it was just sitting there. Well, another friend of mine saw that and kept asking, hey, what's going on with this lumber? And they said, well, we're going to do something with it. It sat there for a year. Finally, whoever it was told my buddy, just take it. Just get it out of here. Well, when I was building that place, he said, hey, I got some slabs from an old tree, 200-year-old tree. So he gave them to me, and that's what I made the counter out of in the store.
Way.
Oh, neat.
And a lot of the shelves in there is from that tree. The cash register area, the checkout.
Oh yeah.
That's all recycled lumber from inside the house. I mean, I wanted to, try and actually the outside kitchen area, call it the backsplash.
Yeah.
Those are all timbers from the old, inside the Radford Gallery where Judy's studio is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool.
Those are timbers that I pulled out of there when we redid that place.
No kidding.
So I want to, I kept wanting to try and bring some of old Roswell in.
forward,
And it kind of ties into what we want to do, bringing the community in there too,
Yeah.
right? That's been a little bit of a struggle for us. Like, I think this year I'm going to focus a lot on trying to get more community events there. Mm-hmm. We've tried to do a lot. Like, I've tried to do things for Alive, and then people will come by the next day. Hey, why don't you have anything for Alive? I said, I did. Where were you?
Yeah, sure.
You need to come on our end of the
Yeah,
block, right?
and I get it. Everybody wants to be down at the other end of Canton.
Yeah. Well, not everybody, but some.
Well, most. But they, what's frustrating to me is we put it out on social media.
Mm-hmm.
I send emails, texts,
Yep.
and then I had no idea. I'm like,
Yeah.
do I need to fly a plane with a
Oh, trust me,
banner?
we deal with that too.
we have to remind people.
So we're gonna hit social media a little bit harder. I'm gonna try and push, and I really want to do more kind of community-based things where people can come in. And again, I get it. I don't sell beer and wine, not yet. I'm working on that. That's a whole nother avenue. So because people want to have a drink or something when they're there. So hopefully this year we'll have that in place. But we're open to whatever. If any of the local businesses or charities or anybody wants to host something at our place, we're open to it.
So let's talk about that, because you built that expansion on the outside,
Awesome.
which
Deck.
I don't know how you survived that other tree falling down, and you went
Yeah.
completely unscathed. That was crazy. I remember driving by seeing that.
Yeah, that was lucky.
But really, I mean, you can do all kinds of cooking demonstrations, cooking classes, group activities out there.
Yeah.
So talk about, you're coming up on 5 years, which congratulations. That was we were just chatting about
Kudos.
that. Wow, time flies. But talk about that expansion and what that's now going to allow you to do.
So originally it was just something to keep the grills undercover and maybe have some classes. But we've done, I've had realtors use it to entertain clients. I had someone use it for a birthday party. We did a pizza class last Saturday, and those are starting to pick up a lot. And part of it is, people will buy a pizza oven from me.
Yeah.
And then they'll come in frustrated. Like, I had the pizza sticking, I don't know what, I said, well, you got to come to one of the classes. And every time they go to one of the classes, it's like a light went off. Like, that's what I was doing wrong. So I want to do that. I'm trying to find someone who, there's a million guys that can grill out there, right?
Yeah.
But not everybody has got the patience or the personality to put on a class and explain things and make it fun for people.
Yeah.
And that's been hard to find. I'm trying to find someone that can come and do big green egg classes, even a green egg 101.
Yeah.
Just to get people, to comfortable with the eggs. We sell pellet grills too. We do a lot of stuff. And it's not just grilling. Like, that's the other thing. A lot of people, when they come in, they're like, oh, someone told me you only sell big green eggs.
Right.
Well, we do all kinds we do mixology stuff. We're on the, I got my hemp license the other day.
Yeah.
So we're
Did
selling
you?
THC drinks.
Yeah.
Wow.
That shocked me. Like, how many people came in January 2nd.
Yeah.
I've had 2 or 3 people a day come in.
Oh yeah.
They're tired of alcohol. They just want something that's going to help them relax a little bit. It's funny though, because you talk to people about it, and when they're talking to you, it's like they lower their voice.
Yeah.
It's like,
You know?
it's like they're ashamed.
Yeah, it's like they're ashamed.
Yeah.
And then you give them the info, and then they kind of walk around the store, and they come back, and then it's like they slide it out. I think I'll just go. I'm like, it's not a drug deal. It's
Right.
It's
No,
legal.
no.
Yeah,
It's legal.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that though, not to get off track, because
Yeah.
we've been kind of tracking this for a little bit. There's what's called the sober movement, where people are
Yeah.
getting more in tune with their health,
Yep.
and maybe
Yeah.
they're aging a little bit.
Yeah.
But what we're learning, and this is anecdotal, but kind of the word on the street, is that concert venues with their alcohol distributors are actually suffering, because what's happening is people are drinking those seltzer THC drinks, CBD drinks. Maybe they're taking like a gummy, all legal, of course.
Yes.
Because they can actually sober up and drive home
Yep.
in 3 hours,
That's
after
right.
seeing a full show,
Yeah.
and not hungover the next day. And it's like the distributors are kind of like getting a little nervous about it. So
Yeah.
I don't think that's going away anytime soon.
The drinks I try to get are usually either very low calorie and either 0 calories, 0 carbs. And it's just, people are just tired of feeling awful the next day after
Yeah.
drinking.
Yeah.
And so we're working on we're going to use the side deck we're going to have like a tasting day or come and learn about it, because the more I think, the more I talk to people, there's a lot of people interested in it.
Yeah.
It's, there's still that little taboo kind of,
but it's breaking.
it's breaking.
down.
And really, if we're honest, if you really talk to people, there's more people doing it than you know.
Yeah.
A lot more.
So I think that's going to be big this year. I'd love to try and get involved with some charities and do some fundraising.
Yeah, you've done some cool things there.
We did something for Alzheimer's 2 years ago. My father-in-law died of Alzheimer's. My dad died of dementia.
Oh, jeez.
We ran into my wife ran into a girl she used to work with whose mother has Alzheimer's, and we said we should do some sort of fundraiser.
Yeah.
We ended up raising, I want to say $70,000.
Oh, goodness.
Somewhere
Yeah.
$60,000,
It
$70,000.
was a great event.
It was fun. I mean, people
lot
had a
of
great time. And what got me was I didn't realize how many people were affected by it.
yeah.
It's a
Oh,
horrible disease.
terrible.
And I'd love to do something with that again. And if it's not a charity, we did a rib cook-off with this running group called F3, if you guys are familiar with them. That was fun. We had 100 people show up for that.
Yeah.
It's just, if I can get the word out,
Yeah.
it'll happen. But sometimes
yeah.
we do things and it falls flat.
No,
You know?
well, these niche markets, I mean,
Yeah.
especially the ones that have big followings that really believe in what they're doing, they show out. Well, and I wanted not to change the subject, but you're right next to Lazaro's, some of the best Cuban. I love that place.
Boy, you can smell it. It
Yeah.
smells
And
good.
I've been in there. It's funny. I've got a funny story. It seems like whenever I'm in there shopping for my wife Ryan, like Ryan appears out of nowhere, and Bruno and I just look at each other like, "What do we do?" Because I'm buying something for Ryan, and it's like this thing. It's happened several times now at this point. It's really funny. But I've been in there, and there seems like there's always somebody that comes over from, like, they're early for their reservation, or they're not quite ready to go in. But Lazaro seems to drive business to Roswell General sometimes. Is that a pattern you see, or okay? Interesting.
Yeah, for sure. And he's got a phenomenal restaurant. If you guys haven't eaten there, you guys got to go there.
Oh, it's awesome.
But yeah, and heck, when we were building the building and he was shut down, his takeout business was insane. I couldn't believe how many cars were going through there.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's got a great venue. We're trying to figure out a way. We've been talking about it for 3 years now, but we're trying to figure out a way where we can collaborate on something where it's kind of where he's maybe serving food and drinks, and we talked about maybe a Cuban night or something where everybody's walking around with cigars and
Oh yeah, 100%. So you've got a ton of Big Green Egg stuff, plenty of charcoal, rubs, sauces. We talked about, tons of Yeti, variety of Yeti, whether it's big coolers, tumblers, dog bowls, the whole 9 yards. But really a great local variety of T-shirts, hats, and things of that nature. What's some of the other half of your offerings? What would that consist of?
So the mixology stuff, it all kind of ties into. Well, I don't want to say into the THC, but that's
a whole side.
We're building that. But there's also these drops that you can put into the mocktails that are THC drops. So we're trying to kind of work with that. Like a lot of the things, like we have these syrups they're all natural. They taste great. A lot of times I'll just throw soda water with, and that's it. And it's like just a drink, just to have. Yeah. While you're drinking.
And you got other clothing brands too. Like you got Cotopaxi, right?
Well, I had Cotopaxi.
Oh yeah.
Well, we've moved on. It didn't do well for us here for some reason.
Interesting. Okay.
I do have a jacket made by a guy who invented it. He lives in East Cobb. His name's Howard White. If anybody, a lot of people know him. He's a really good guy. He invented this jacket brand called Constant Mountain.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Great quality jackets. The main thing about them is you can zip it up, put your arms through it, and your hands will go all the way through.
Okay.
It's a weird. You gotta come check it out. It's a great design, but they are top quality jackets. Okay. I'll put them up against any Patagonia, super warm. He's got waterproof raincoats. It's just a really good coat. So we carry that. We've kind of backed off of a lot of the T-shirt stuff. We'll do Roswell-based stuff. We decided it'll be like Roswell Hornets or our Roswell General stuff or Visit Roswell stuff.
Yep.
Just because it's clothing's tough because you end up you sell some of it, but then you're stuck with a lot of odd sizes,
right.
and then what do? You
Yeah.
clearance it out. So
You got Olakai still, right?
I still have Olakai shoes.
Oh, yeah.
Probably one of the best.
Oh, I've got
selections.
several pairs from there.
Yeah.
We
Yep.
do all do.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
There you go.
Got a ton
they're
of
awesome.
them.
Love them.
They're great shoes. If you're not familiar with them,
Men's
they're-
and women.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, men's.
men's.
I'll preach it. I'll preach it.
I backed off on the women's stuff. It wasn't selling as well, but the guy stuff was moving.
Guy stuff moves.
Which makes sense because Olakai, if you know anything about them, most shoe brands are 80% women, 20%.
They're the opposite.
They're the exact opposite.
Yeah.
So that's
They're
why I
awesome though, because I'll tell you, I bought a pair of flip flops from you one time, and they lasted a very long time. But
Yep.
then they started fraying, and I was just like, I'll give it a shot and see if they'll replace them. And I'm not in a week they had an
Hey.
entire new shipment to me.
Olakai
Yeah.
is
It was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're it's a great sandal, like great support. I mean, I wear them on vacation, just walking around. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
they're
Yeah.
super comfortable.
Yeah,
Good shoes.
100%.
Trying to think of what else we got. You know, we just went to a show 2 weeks ago,
Okay.
and we're bringing in a bunch of new stuff. I can't remember half of the stuff we bought, but going to try and revamp a little bit and reset the store. My biggest fear is being stale.
Yeah, sure.
Just got to be fresh. Got to
Yeah,
be new.
I hate when people come in and I don't have something new to show them.
Yep.
So that's tough too, especially when we've kind of been known as a place to come to find stuff for guys.
Yeah.
Well, if you've ever been anywhere, any sort of a merchandise show, and you ask where's the guy stuff, it's this little corner here, and then
Right.
all the rest is women. So
Yeah.
it's really hard to find guy stuff.
Yeah.
But we've got these. They're laser cut maps and clocks and stuff that are of like the one we have right now. It's Hilton Head.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Okay, and it's a Tide clock, but we can order it. Like if you got a place on Lake Burton and
Yeah.
you want one cut out of Lake Burton, we can do it.
Yep.
Oh, no, that's cool.
We can do, and it's not. You can do a regular clock. You can just do it framed. We'll have those in within about a week. They're super cool if you see them.
I've got 2 places on Lake Burton, so I'm definitely going to need a couple
Yeah,
of
Right,
those.
you're gonna
go.
need.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I hear you.
Speaking of laser, I just bought a laser engraving machine.
Okay.
We're going to start doing engraving in house.
Yeah, you've done some
Nice.
stuff for us. So
Yeah.
it's been shipped out and then it
Yeah,
comes back.
Yeah, I was sending it out to somebody who did a phenomenal job. She
Yeah.
was great, but
Now you can control it. It's in your house.
and her husband. The reason we're not using her is her husband took a job in California and they had to move. But she'd probably still be doing it for me. But since she's not, we're going to start doing it in house.
Good for
not?
you.
So we're going to be doing some cool stuff. If you want some custom stuff, come see us.
100%.
We'll do it.
Yeah. It's good to know for us.
Yeah.
Bruno, thank you for coming on 1st.
Yeah.
Thank you for your investment in Roswell because you really have done a phenomenal job, and it just keeps
Yeah.
growing.
Well,
And it's exciting.
I got to give some credit to my wife for sure.
Yeah, sure.
'cause I
Yeah.
bounce a lot of stuff off
Yeah.
of her. She's
Yep.
got a great eye for things. And you guys too are super helpful.
Appreciate that.
Anytime I need something, I call you guys. I'm thinking of doing this. What do you think? And I got to say thanks to you guys too, and
You're welcome.
to the community.
Yeah.
Because more times than not, I'll say this one last thing. I know we got to cut it.
No,
You're good.
I've gotten calls from people from REI saying, I'm here getting ready to buy something, but if you have it at your store, I'm going to come get
No
it.
kidding. Oh, yeah. That's a way to
Yeah,
do
that's
it.
I mean,
Shoot, yeah.
That sells
when
the
I hear
story.
get calls like that, it's like, wow, this community really
Yeah.
supports local. You got to support local, even restaurants too. I
Yep.
mean,
Yeah.
it's restaurant week.
Yep.
Don't think you got to go out and spend tons of money.
No.
These restaurants, if just get an app and a drink.
Yeah.
That's right.
All those little
It goes
purchases
all
add
the
up.
way.
It
It
all
does. It
adds
does.
up.
It
So
does.
Well,
think of Roswell.
We talked about getting you some promotion a little bit, Instagram, Facebook, where you at, website. This is
Yeah.
your chance to tell everybody how to find you and how to follow you.
Okay, so RoswellGeneral.com.
Easy enough.
That if you want any of the cooking classes or anything, go to classes and events, click on that, and you can sign up right there.
Cool. Okay.
Instagram and Facebook. That's our main source of social media. Finally, got my daughter to help us out with that, so hopefully
Awesome.
There you
they'll
go.
start looking a little bit better.
No, yeah. I've always thought you guys had a pretty strong
Yeah,
presence.
my wife's
so-
been doing that, but
Yeah.
but we've got to step up our game a little bit and let everybody kind of know, especially with the events.
Top
Yeah,
of mind, man.
sure,
Top
sure.
of mind. That's
Yeah,
what it is.
35 Woodstock Road, right next to Laz's. If you guys don't know where
That's
we're
right.
at.
And I would not have gotten a golf cart without this
That's
guy
right.
on my 60th birthday.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thanks to this guy and Roswell General.
Got
One
some
of the
new
best.
stuff coming in a couple weeks with golf carts.
I love it.
All
A
right.
couple of new lines. That's going to be exciting. Very affordable too.
Oh,
good.
Okay, cool.
Good.
Yeah, because those things have skyrocketed.
There's so much fun downtown.
Yeah, I'll sell them to you cheaper than I sold Steve's.
There you go.
There you go.
All right. Cheers.
All right, appreciate
Thanks,
it, Bruno.
Bruno.
Thanks,
Yeah,
man.
thanks so
Thank
much.
you, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.